Okay, so that was literally the worst 1d4 roll ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
The others were pretty much essentially different vampires coming into city and talking to Bacon. This was the one conversation the most likely to end into, you know, what? Don't like you very much.
What happened to the sword anyway?
They probably left it there.
Yeah, they did.
That's a masquerade breach and a half.
Don't worry, I have that handled. I go and tell one of the ghouls, go grab that sword. It's just... I can do it quick.
Mm-hmm. All
And I
right.
need to handle the fucking building going off, probably with the Toreador help.
Yeah, the problem is this happened very shortly before dawn, so you won't be able to get over there before it's daytime.
Nope. As I said, we'll just have to handle the fallout, not the action itself.
Okay, so ping one of the ghouls, grab the thing, excellent. Okay, let's
It's
see.
why I didn't do something like state, oh yeah, and totally go and fix the window and all that bullshit. No, they're not doing that.
Let's see, you're watching the area, right?
Only to a degree. I was generally trying to keep track of the prints.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
assuming that
around a little bit.
I'm assuming that you are pinging Andy at some point.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
so
I'll just tell Andy I'll try and help out with everything in a little bit. Sorry, it's about dawn.
yeah, when you see him, you see the lightning sky through the window, and he's pushing the prince's desk towards the window to create an excuse for what fell out of it.
Ah, well, that's at least something. But yeah, I'll just tell him that I'll be trying to help out tomorrow. I'll see what I can set up. Is there anyone that you particularly want informed about what's going on or anything like that?
Need someone who can manage memories.
I'll be over.
Just table slips out. Blink, blink, blink. Watch out below.
So, my meeting with the regent to continue negotiations is going to be delayed a little bit.
Okay,
That's
so
good
nobody gets
anyways.
killed by the table falling suddenly. That's good.
That's very good.
Does sound like a
Good
stupid
plan, I
neonate way
suppose.
to cover this up, right? Just toss the table out as well.
Much.
It works. It's not the greatest, but it works. So, I suppose it goes on to the next night.
Yes, so it does. Bacon subtract a blood point.
Will do.
So what the fuck is awaiting me in the morning?
Well,
He sees the sun, is what he meant. What?
nothing in particular, Jackal, or you haven't been ambushed yet.
I'm asking if the Lord is coming to is knocking on the door or anything.
Not yet.
I'm going to go to I'm going to go to my librarian and tell him, get everything you can on werewolves, Please.
Being the first to actually wake up,
Yes.
I'm going
Yes,
to
sorry.
go over and see about helping out Andy and figuring out who needs what memories, things like that. I
Okay.
might combine that with a hunting role just a bit.
Let's see. Let's see. Andy has high humanity. So. Oh, god fucking damn it. Gonna start rolling to see if he could have stayed awake long enough to have been useful. Okay. One scene. Gonna say that 2 is enough. Okay.
I would have done the same, but I quickly realized I can't travel in the daylight, so...
Yeah. Yeah, when you arrive, Andy has a definitely Malkavian look to him. He's very wild in the eye. Oh, you're finally here.
Yep. Alright. What have you managed to find out so far? Who's seen what?
I I think I managed to cover for it. I told them that the table collapsed. When it had some stuff on it, it collapsed and it sort of slid into the window, and apparently that had a fault in it, and it went crashing down. There weren't any people involved in that, and it must have smacked into the windows on the way down, and that's why there are scratches there. But I'm not sure if all of them bought it. There was a lot of police here, a lot of police. I think I got it though.
Okay, okay. Calm down. Calm down. Do you need me to calm you down?
Please
I'd
don't.
rather not, but... Alright. Then keep calm. So, the police came down, there was a lot of them. Probably the manager was involved, things like that.
Manager, fireman, safety inspection. This weird dude that said he was from the insurance already showed up, and there's a lot of people measuring and saying about replacing the place. They put some what's the plastic or tarpaulin over it. I don't know. I didn't check. It was light there. I think it's okay though.
Okay, calm down. You did great. Good job, Andy. Alright, so there shouldn't be any particular loose ends, especially if, that went as well as you. I'll double check any police reports, see if I can't find out what insurance agency came over here, things like that. Just make sure there wasn't anything weird in the reports, but it sounds like things are good. Don't worry. Now we just need to find out what to do on the other end of things.
Uh-huh. The prince has had the foresight to have someone prepare silver weaponry.
Hopefully we can negotiate this instead. A lot of
No,
people
kill
will
them.
die if we go that way.
Kill them all.
You do know that the sheriff has a lot of Bruja ghouls at this point. From the streets.
Yeah, I'd rather not people die in general, thank you.
They're
mean,
not
fucking
people, they are
humanity.
ghouls.
Fucking humanity vampires. They can't do anything.
Fuck
As if
you.
I could do a lot, fucker. So, the first thing I'm going to do is basically, I need to gain willpower, get blood points, and see about arranging another negotiation with apparently just the regent instead of, as planned, the prince and the regent for the night to try and figure out things on that end. And then I'm going to need to try and meet up with the Nosferatu.
Okay,
Fuck, I have a lot of meetings I need to do now.
so Epic, give me a charisma empathy roll to see if you manage to actually console Andy, because he's out of his fucking mind. He's had a very rough day.
Definitely console Andy. You did great. You're doing good. Don't worry. I'm helping out.
That poor sod. What a learning experience. What a time to be alive.
Having to stay up for the entire fucking day.
Not for the entire day, but a good 2 or 3 hours. And when you have to stay there and worry about light making its way in and having to pop for to the moment you feel yourself starting to burn and talking to people and having to lie in those circumstances, it fucking sucks.
Don't worry. I am a very, very good little girl.
Well, I'll give him a point of willpower for this, and I'll let you have one back because you did so well. So you're able to actually function as an independent adult.
Oh, good.
I mean, Demi, you have that contact. Maybe she can help with negotiations.
Well, we might figure that out eventually. For now, I definitely need to see if the Regent will have a good time at some point tonight to meet up, and where he would prefer to actually do the meeting.
You probably want to call all the rest of the Secret Council at once and possibly include the Nosferatu, because you do have bigger issues to worry about, and they're all sort of involved with that. Like a crisis committee.
I need to meet with him first.
To make
Yeah,
sure he
that's fine.
behaves.
Because we weren't able to actually get into some of the discussion we really needed.
Mhm.
But yeah, I will be getting the rest to come in a little bit, later. I'll even just call them after we're done with our talk, because there's important shit.
Okay.
Because this fucker just needs to not be doing bad things in the background, god damn it, okay?
Okay. So, Demi, you wake up and find Vivian already gone. What is your reaction?
She does what she does. She. By the way, did Vivian tell me anything last night about this?
Nope. Not especially, at least. He doesn't want you to go and try and kill somebody because of certain actions.
You could
Then I don't
probably, if you took 3 or 4 of the strongest gangrel, do some real damage over to the werewolves.
Since I don't know anything, I'm just gonna go and hunt more, and probably have. Finally, actually no. I'm just gonna go hunt.
Okay.
Presumably, I'm going to get to hunt too. I'm not sure what time Jack will say as a time for
Hours.
Alright, so assuming that slightly later in the night. Let's see. I'm gonna assume that Pamela hasn't necessarily been fully fucked up and has gotten more chances to feed during the night. So I'm gonna say that she is healed up to the point where she can walk independent. If slowly. So you would run into her over there as well. So if you want to get information from her Epic, you can. She will happily fill you in on the werewolves, where they are, and what the prince had her doing.
Yeah, I'll talk to her, see exactly what the situation actually was, things like that.
Yeah, she just tells you that she was, looking at the place, they got ambushed, and the Princess Ghoul protected her by using silver.
Brought silver ammo to the territory?
Well, we weren't inside, we were at a distance.
Fuck. That explains everything.
They done took him! Those bastards!
Yeah, I'm gonna see what we can arrange for the night. Hopefully, negotiations can happen.
Or
Otherwise, war
or
will be
and
probably
this
the answer.
is maybe a interesting idea, but if you could argue that the prince would owe him a major boon after this, you could ask if Thorbrand is willing to go in there and get him.
That's a third option.
I mean, of all the vampires that might be able to do it, it would be him.
Yeah, it's true. It's an option. I mean, it's always an option. Just depends on how things go.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna be as far away from
That's
the
backup.
werewolf territory as I can be, since I can move on my own now. I'll
Alright.
be seeing
Good
you.
luck, Pamela.
Uh-huh, you
Yep.
too. Try not to get stabbed by claws or something.
So many stabby implements.
Yeah, they kinda hurt.
Alright. So, Jack, what time are you good for getting together
mean-
eventually?
Probably right about, like, maybe an hour after I wake up.
So you
Well,
would have
like I said,
you would have a chance then, Epic, to squeeze in an hour of hunting.
Squeezing
Yeah,
in
because
hour
I
of
want to-
hunting.
That's
What's the difficulty?
you can go back to your own territory and you have it's early in the night and you have all the advantages, especially a blood splattered dress. So
Nope, I don't have that anymore. Avdan got me a new dress.
I'm presuming you probably just stole from my wallet.
I'm
No.
not sure he would have had much of a chance, but you can have essentially told one of your Malks to have one ready and they'll essentially have brought one to you while you were on your way to.
Okay, then I would ask anyone if they could see about getting me some set of clothes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can roll at 3, because you have all the things for hunting, and you can make it back to your territory for this.
Okay. Oh, I'll take one from each.
Is that all you need? Or are you just being
Uh,
nice?
Being nice. I'm being very nice.
Uh-huh. Alright.
Unlike these guys, I actually don't generally need a lot of blood.
Alright, and Demi, make a hunting roll as well, and I'm assuming you want one as well, Jackalor?
No, actually, I'll be trying to do research.
Okay, into what?
Werewolves.
Werewolves, right.
Werewolves.
Rush up on it.
Yeah, together with my librarian.
Then give me intelligence occult plus at 6 plus 4 dice for your library, and the librarian will be assisting your roll.
At 6. You said 6, right?
At 6, yes. But you get a lot of extra dice and help. Okay. You have a good idea of many of the more common gifts, and oh boy, if they're not complete noobs, going in there, especially with spirit defenses, even if there's relatively few of them, you could easily get a dozen vamps killed before you killed all of them, and they're gonna defend that place to the death, every single one.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
And you pretty much would have to have a frontal assault, because if they realized you were trying to force them out in order to rescue their prince, they would probably,
Just kill him, yeah.
well, kill him where you could see it and then do a, heroic last charge thing and try to kill as many of you anyway.
Yeah. Fucking pointlessly dying werewolves.
They're really supposed to eventually stop that because their numbers are go down a lot. But
Yeah,
hey.
no, I know that's the idea, but you know.
But yeah, essentially, if you're threatening the node, it's a matter of honor, at least for the pack that's directly in charge of defending it, to fight to the end. Because it's
And
a
it's a
sacred.
massive, yeah, and it's like a massive honor and wisdom loss as well as glory loss if you go and just run away from a no being attacked, from a cairn being attacked.
But yeah, all right. So eventually we'll try and get a meeting. Where do you want to hold it?
I mean, nobody can spy on my chance without. If you don't
I
mind.
don't really care. I just need to make sure we have a meeting together.
I think
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
Auspex thing, was that something you already had or something you had to develop? I think you had
No, it's
warning,
okay.
right?
Yeah, I had warning, which essentially means I know if somebody's watching.
Okay, then yeah, that's been ringing since you woke up.
I'm assuming that's Vivian, or is that the Lord?
You don't know who it is specifically, you just know that someone is watching. Constantly.
I'll ask Vivian if she's been watching me at all.
Just to send you messages.
How many?
This one?
Okay. Yeah. Let's just go elsewhere. And I'll essentially write a note somewhere to the Lord, just hello, essentially.
Hello,
Jackalor,
welcome to this chat tree.
okay, exactly how do you word this note? I need the exact wording.
Essentially, it is good to know that you are interested in the well-being of this chantry enough to observe it. I'm certain you'll have an interest in a meeting. So if you'd please inform me of a time which would be would be good for you, I'll be listening.
Charisma etiquette for that, if you would.
Don't spend willpower on this.
Are you spending willpower? Yes, no. Because this might matter.
Difficulty?
Just 6.
Wow.
Okay. Alright. Well, the Lord, you probably know her pretty well. As far as you know, she does not have clairvoyance herself. So if it is her, she cares enough at this point to ask someone else to keep an eye on you. Which is a bad
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah. That's the idea. I'm pretty sure.
Just need a meeting, dude. Wherever.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just go meet somewhere. So at certain location.
Certain location, generally private.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to figure out especially with the prince being kidnapped now. We do need to try and notice she actually pretends as if you already know about it.
I mean, I'll pretend as if I'm already aware. I had something. I had an idea of something going on, and this pretty much confirms.
So with him being gone, this is going to be even tougher to try and do. But we do need to try and arrive to something of an agreement to stop this kind of thing from happening again. Thing is,
I'm all ears.
I don't think that you would generally, don't seem the type to even generally trust or anything in general. There's nothing particularly super concrete at the moment to try and even help you in some ways. The the first thing I suppose we should talk about is our grievances with each other. Would you be willing to just at least bring up this kind of thing before just running in and trying to kill people? At least with the vampires in the city?
Of course.
In exchange, I won't actively try to dissuade your power base anymore.
All I
If I
ask.
find that you've done something, that goes against this small agreement of ours, I'm going to have to, we'll have to deal with the consequences. But
Yeah.
for now, we will just have, you know, a verbal trust between us that we won't be trying to screw over, in your case, the lives of the kindred in the city. And in my case, I won't be actively opposing any kind of power you're trying to gather.
So,
Mhm.
Jackalor, usually this kind of crap from an elder sounds like an outright threat. In her case, strangely enough, it sounds like she just wants to get along with you. Go figure. But the words are the same.
I mean, I'll treat them as both. She's threatening me while saying that there's a chance you might work out. Maybe.
Then again, William the Oblivious, remember? You have had bad experiences with this one.
Yeah, I know, but considering her power with the Gangrel, this is probably my best shot.
And Amalx. Because you know the
Yeah.
Madness Network, and it's like fighting a fucking hive mind that's everywhere if you piss them off
Yeah.
enough.
Okay, so I'm not going to, stop you from doing your manipulations or anything like that, but just not this kind of, assassination attempts against possible allies. Possible enemies too, but at least possible allies at the same time.
Please no TK. Or kick.
Alright, so the next part we'll need to talk about is the gangrels will need some kind of win to take back to their, the other elders and such for
Mhm.
the attempt against the life of one of their elders.
Mhm.
Uh,
I'm willing to make sacrifices, yes.
well, one of the things that they could very publicly at least try and bring back, but we really need the prince here as well, which is kind of AFK. What's AFK? Who knows? Did use some strange term. But we'll probably need the prince for. We could possibly give them, attribute them a win in the form of reducing your domain to the chantry itself.
And giving the rest to Gangrel as recompense?
I thought about it, but really that would basically be killing the Tremere. Instead,
That would be
Gangrel would hand it over to
even
one of their
even
allies.
saying that, like giving it to the Gangrel would almost make me want to stab you in the face.
Yeah. She thought
Yeah.
about it, but she really thought that, well, the Gangrel would probably just use that to try and kill you, to be honest, so.
I mean, you know what's gonna happen.
Then,
It's gonna be like, hey, it's unclaimed territory, and every year one more street gets added to the Gangrel domain.
Yeah, pretty.
So,
I'll inform her
yeah,
that.
instead, I would.
That's
So for a certain period to try and, assuade them, your general domain might be owned by somebody else. Probably some form of that the Gangrel consider allies in general. Many
you're
of
saying
those.
You're counting. You're going to suggest the Bruja, aren't you?
I was going to suggest the Bruja.
I was too.
God fucking damn it.
The
Oh.
other options generally aren't considered allies most of the time. I mean, in the city, the Malkavians are pretty close to them, but I'm not sure how much they'd go with that. We'd have to see. Basically, we can see about possibly reducing the hostility against you guys by, giving some concessions over.
The problem is that would paint the entirety of Clan Tremere in the city as having done it, not just one.
Tough.
Unfortunately, when one does such an action, it often reflects on one's clan.
Yes, but it is a lot easier to deflect blame.
That might not be enough, is actually the bigger issue.
Yes, and I doubt them gaining the territory is going to be enough to sate their bloodlust.
Oh, I think if we do it over a decent amount of time, this could actually work out fair enough. But I don't think having the territory to them, what they generally need is to try and, make themselves look as if they gained a win to their elders, who are responding to an attack to their own. This needs to probably either be in the fashion of, blood, death, or at the very least, some form of major win. A major win in the form of them taking away the Tremere domain would probably be good enough that at the very least there wouldn't be any more push from, the Gangrel elders.
It's going to be a really, really, really tough sell.
Jackalor. I
don't
rolled
understand why that's a
intelligence
tough sell.
politics for you secretly. So, there is an opportunity in this because it was a good roll. The Bruja, if they are in charge of this, they might not be as willing to howl for blood as the Gangrel, and if you could talk with them and convince the sheriff in particular to get the Bruja to essentially tell the Gangrel to not hunt Tremere on Bruja territory, you would be virtually completely safe, especially if there's an understanding that you get it back after a decade or two.
Yeah, but like you'd have to I'd have to convince the I can convince the Bruja.
I doubt you can either. That's
That's
why
it would
I'm
have to,
trying to help you out.
yeah. It essentially would have to be him, and if I don't want to be relying on
Honestly,
him.
given that he's convinced that it was a Malk prank and he has suspicion that it couldn't have happened without Vivian knowing, Demi or you, well, Demi probably has the best shot. Short of that, yours would be about equal to Vivian's at this point.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of butthurt there to Malks in general right now. And he hasn't had much of a chance for that to fade.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
On the other hand, he has had some form of verification that there actually was a threat.
He hasn't really heard about that yet, though.
Yeah, no, he hasn't yet.
Oh, well, he's
Yeah.
going to hear about that soon.
I think it should be best if you could convince Halfdan to make the deal with him.
Yeah, might work out, especially with him representing the Gangrel and the other. So, do you want to go through with that? It
Yes,
will
it's
pretty likely work out. That way,
yeah.
we'll see if they're willing to try and go for that or not. It should be, this at least will help you avoid having constant issues for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe open up further diplomacy down the road.
Hopefully.
We
Take
can
it
solve
easy.
for today. We can solve for tomorrow another day. All right. Well, I suppose we need to get everyone together then and talk about the prince being gone. I was thinking the sheriff and the Nosferatu.
Sure, yes, you should call them. Also Halfdan, probably.
Well, yeah, him included. All right. Well, let's get everyone together.
I have been, during the time waiting for anything from you, I was researching the werewolves, and I know quite a bit, so I can brief you on them
Oh, that's good.
while we're waiting.
Sure. Wait, they have spirits? Holy shit, what's a totem?
They have so much spirit. They have so many fucking spirits, you won't even believe.
Vivian gets an info dump of what is werewolf and how do you be one?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've just changed the sheriff's nature for the people watching because this has been building up over time, and I think at this point it's like, oh god's fucking. Okay, so he has been lucky
Elder
while
Company.
hunting, so essentially we're gonna say that he's rebuilt his blood pool for this.
Yep. So yeah, we get everyone together.
Are you including Andy? Cause he is essentially the prince's approved representative. It might look bad if you cut him
yeah.
out.
Yeah, I
I'll just throw it at
agree.
the others.
We should
I'll
get
bring in
Andy.
Andy.
He's seneschal. He's
Sure, I'll
seneschal.
bring in Andy too.
Also, I'm pretty sure the prince would disapprove if we didn't include him when we get him back.
Don't know.
Okay. There. And then you wanted the Nosferatu primogen on top.
Yep.
Not including the other primogen that might be useful. These are the ones you want, I assume.
Yep.
Okay.
We want these particular right now. This isn't a primogen meeting. This is
Yeah.
a general oh shit meeting.
Yeah, Andy
pretty
is, just heads straight on in when, he learns that you're here to have a meeting, takes the seat at the head of the table. Doesn't seem happy about being there, but you may place
Oh.
yourselves appropriately.
I trained him very well.
Demi.
Okay.
Am I being invited right now or later?
Yes.
Yeah, you're being invited.
He's on the opposite side.
Okay. So
Andy raises a finger. Looks at Halfdan. I believe there is a seat for you, Primogen, with the other council members. There.
Where is he pointing?
Next to the Nosferatu Primogen. Stern look on his face. Mildly impressive from such a little squirt.
Is there a problem with me sitting exactly here?
yes. Now move. We have important matters to discuss.
Damn it.
When he tells this to the other Metro, he's gonna get so much stick in the dust for getting it. Oh, they do grow up so fast.
Sudden betrayal, Debbie.
Do you get up and move, or are you gonna try and stick to your seat?
I don't know Andy for long. What would Halvdan do? At the same time, I want to be a nice guy and just go like, okay.
But
I
he
mean,
is
it's like-
Ventru, and he's being a Ventru.
Okay, this is gonna be a dickish move, but I love it. I'm gonna take the other chair that was right there, put it closer to me, and just put my feet up.
Alvden, please just go sit over there.
He just stares you down. Cold as
Okay.
ice.
Vivian asked me nicely. That's why I'll turn. Just because Vivian told me.
As long as you
Oh,
do what you
God.
should have done in the first place. He says in that shit-eating tone.
Okay,
Another bit on
so
my shit list.
we have a real issue here.
Yes.
Yeah. Who here doesn't know about it? We need to know for possible frenzying sakes. So
The
I
sheriff
look at
looks
it
around.
first.
Has something else happened other than the Sabbat raid?
okay. I do apologize really quick, but I'll just be ready in case anything happens to go out the door. So the werewolves came in yesterday. Prince is gone. Taken hostage.
The sheriff sits up straight. Really now?
Yep.
What? Like,
Vivian is currently out of her seat and even over by the door, ready to just open it up and, hide.
I'll just
Why-
prepare to like teleport.
The sheriff
Why
just
he-
looks at Havdan. It's a look of, a half a moment's look of essentially, now this would be an opportunity, wouldn't it? And then he says, well, we must do everything in our power to ensure a smooth transition then.
He is
Yeah,
not
he's
dead.
still alive. He's currently buried over in their place of power.
Yes, I can brief you on the information about werewolves if you. But for now, listen to Vivian. She is the most well informed.
just a question. So he's not outrightly killed, right? Right. So he's alive, buried somewhere.
No,
I've-
they managed to incapacitate him. He's not even tortured, actually. From what I could tell.
Taken,
How
meanwhile,
would he
they
be
are
able to
digging you up. They've dug you up, they've tried to feed you animals, and that obviously hasn't worked, and now they're discussing amongst themselves while you're just rolling in on the ground in a fuck ton of puked up animal blood.
Yeah.
to all to eat
So
animals.
currently, I'm thinking we should first probably try and start some negotiations. Apparently, the prince sent, I forgot her name. Is it P?
Pamela?
Pamela.
Hey, but okay.
He sent
Vivian?
Pamela around the werewolf territory, scouting it out, along with one of his ghouls. They had silver ammo, and even managed to shoot two of the werewolves, basically down. Didn't kill them, apparently.
The
But,
Nosferatu
they were-
Primogen will interject at this point. I believe that there are mages in that area. Any warfare we undertake there could have wider repercussions.
This is correct. Is it?
Should
Vivian?
be.
Were you aware of this?
No, I didn't know about the werewolves
Andy?
until I found them in his office.
The
Andy, were you aware of this?
The prince wanted to keep this secret. We only became aware of this a few nights ago.
Oh my fucking god.
It was not an immediate concern. The idea was not to engage.
You should at least
So,
told
But you
me.
engage with the werewolves.
They came to us.
Yeah,
Yes.
the werewolves apparently popped in his office, and
Yeah.
tried to escape. Andy has been doing a great job trying to waylay all the questions that have happened from his scuffle with the werewolves. So
I understand that. My question, what really was what I was talking about was sending Pamela and the ghoul with silver into their territory.
I believe that the Kia Seed was scouting the perimeter and happened upon a patrol of some kind.
yeah, that is
She
seemingly
was
what's happened.
she was told to be cautious, and she tried to be cautious, just not cautious enough.
Pamela is not here, is she?
She left
She's currently
yesterday.
retreated herself over to the far sides of the city, I think. I can check real quick.
I'm quite, yeah. She's probably packing, isn't she?
If you look in on her epic, she isn't packing, but she is sticking to the safer side of the city. I just love how
Okay,
the
was there any
Nosferatu
other-
Primogen was able to drop.
Anything else?
Okay, from Pamela or from the group at the table?
Not from the group at the table. Is there anything else particularly?
Yes. May I ask you? You never told me what did it look like, the werewolves, when they attacked the prince? If you saw that.
The Native Americans.
Did you? When I informed you of different tribes of werewolves,
I presume
did
so. You
anything?
got all the way to gifts.
Yeah, but like, did you see any? Were there anything you could think of that it would have been?
What were the types? Could I identify somewhat the distinguishing markings if he gave me anything on those?
I had like 11 successes.
I know that.
You can describe them too, Jackalor, and you would know that these were probably a mixture of, to various extents, of the pure tribes. Not particularly purebred ones necessarily, but they probably had both Uktena and Wendigo ancestry in them. So there's a good chance it's a mixture of, those two actual tribes.
Yeah. Well, that
So
complicates
yeah, I can
things.
do that.
These would be the Wendigo, likely a Wendigo and Uktena tribe. Uktena tribe. Cairn, as they call it.
Okay. Do you happen to know generally what
They're
missions and stuff they
zealots.
have?
They're zealots.
Zealots?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Sounds bad.
lovely.
I'm surprised. Let's put it this way. Normally, you'd be surprised if werewolves kept a vampire alive. I'd be surprised if a werewolf didn't just kill if Uktena or Wendigo werewolf didn't just kill any werewolf they saw on the spot. So it baffles me that they
good to
actually
know.
captured him.
So, what do you guys think? Do you believe that they want something from us? Maybe. I doubt
Well,
it, but
probably has something to do with shooting some of their werewolves with silver.
Yes,
Jackalor,
but
the
Besides
others don't know this, but the node you took was a Wendigo. Well, actually, no, it was a Croatoan node originally, but these fuckers. Well, you know that was the third pure tribe that got nixed by the Wormcomers, as they're called. So these fuckers might want it back. So you know what they might want.
I mean, I'll waive that until later.
Yeah, no reason for the others to know important things like this.
Whatever.
It's not necessary for the current situation.
Sure, just letting you know,
Alright.
reminding you.
Yep. All right. So, besides that, we will need to try and order the city up a bit to accommodate the prince being out of commission, at least for now, possibly for more permanent.
Sheriff throws a few looks around the table.
Well, suppose the first thing to do. Andy was seneschal, but why do I forget your name too?
Kurt.
But Kurt is the current sheriff. One of them take the day-to-day things of the prince for now.
Kurt throws a glance at Havdan and says, I have no problem with Andy managing things for now. I'll be sure to advise him on things that are beyond his experience.
I'm gonna reply with, I must be honest, Andy does impress a little bit. I'd be glad with him.
Okay.
I
Well,
support
Andy-
Andy.
Andy will
I
be
do
handling
indeed
things
support
in
Andy
general for a
taking
while.
control for now.
Right. So, Michelle, do you have any kind of information that might help with the general situation here?
Well, the prince was scared of these werewolves, I know that much. He was trying
Okay.
to convince my clan to move so as not to provoke them, so it seems like he at least considered the threat extremely serious.
All right. Well, I know where they are, and I can get us that far. I even know where the body was put earlier.
Can you
I'll be double
check?
checking on where he is.
Okay.
You never know, they might be torturing him or something. But for now, I suppose the bigger thing is to try and make sure, just in case they try and start a war or something, we need to be ready for that. I'll see about sending a letter to one of them, see if we can't start negotiations of some kind before that. It's too big of an issue, but we'll just have to see how it goes.
Alright.
In the meantime, you think you should move most of the Nosferatu? I think that's probably a good idea. Did you mention where?
We are safe enough underground, but I would require any silver that can be spared so we can properly secure our lair.
There is some silver. The prince had some ready, right, Andy? See about giving some of those to the Nazis.
Most of that is in the form of bullets.
Oh, cool. That's even better for the Nazis, kind of.
I
Not really.
have access to the prince's accounts and I knew who he hired for the job. I can see if I can arrange some. I believe you use straps, so appropriate silver teeth for various devices and the like. And Michelle just nods at this.
Right.
Yeah.
So besides that, the Tremere possibly see about getting some more blades or something ready, I guess.
Yes, if
Unless you
any
can
of
think of
you are
something more
willing,
useful.
I could attempt to. I could attempt to make more enchanted weapons, or make wards, or ward certain
Yeah.
areas.
Wards over certain areas?
And
Well,
he
maybe,
actually is gonna speak up. Well, since the prince, once he comes back, is likely to stay in this place for a while, perhaps warding the top floor of this building might be useful.
Could we have you go around and putting wards down for important places and possibly a couple strategic locations in the Nosferatu domain?
If the Nosferatu would, of course, approve.
You also know the limitations, Jackal, or essentially a permanent ward for even a floor like this would probably involve spending some willpower points. you have the will of the pyramid ritual in the chantry, and you have people who are able to help with that. But you still only have essentially 3 or 4 wizards that can pull their power total, so you are limited in
Yeah.
willpower resources.
Yes, there will only be so many buildings that I can protect, but so you will have to choose carefully.
Yeah, we'll just start with the most important at first. But could you do this over like a month or two? Try and really fortify the city at least for a while.
That should help with the expenditures, but I'm not sure how long the prince will last.
That's going to be the first thing on the agenda, but we'll just have to see how that works out. For
There's
now,
one more
focus
thing.
on.
I believe that since we are risking a great deal of chaos and the city has suffered from lack of communication, we need to pick and approve in the prince's absence at least a temporary Elysium.
I agree with this.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
true. This is becoming quite the issue that has yet to be resolved.
Well,
Just out of character, didn't we have an Elysium like somewhere, like a rented hotel or something?
that
no,
was
no.
essentially the Elysium for as long as it took to have the Primogen meeting.
Yeah.
It wasn't declared as a permanent one.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So where would be a good location, and whose Elysium will it be under?
let's see. How smart is Andy in politics? How quickly can he think? Okay. Sees no obvious problems with this idea, and it seems a neat solution. Well, I believe the Gangrel and the Malkavians already have a gathering place, and it already has a powerful guardian looking at Halfdan. For now, we could simply make it official, and I'm sure it would be one of the safest places with the Gangrel guarding it.
So Halfdan, are you alright with being an Elysium keeper?
I kind of have a job already.
In Andy's mind,
So-
take it, you dumb fuck, it'll keep you out of trouble.
We're all kind of
Where
looking
would-
at you. You better
I mean,
fucking
yeah.
take it.
Yeah, I'm looking, and I'm also remembering. Actually, I do have a number of Gangrel, so to say. I'm just gonna ask, where exactly would the domain be? I think it was called Falkwood. Actually, that it was a good place.
Just the map, correct?
I believe
Go
there's
back
a,
to the.
I call it Shit Creek as far as maps go. This
No,
place.
like map.
No,
Other
no, no,
map.
no, no, not that place.
Big map. City map.
On the big map, it is in the
It's not
park.
Fairgrounds. I was thinking we were thinking Fairgrounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
we were
The one you all
Fairgrounds.
have been gathering in is inside the park, and he's speaking about that spot. Because you do technically have an advantage there, especially if it's warded against werewolves, it becomes almost unassailable.
Yeah, we're not
Yay.
warding that place.
I mean, all you need to do is ward against werewolves, not against vamps.
I'm not warning that place. I'm not. Yeah, no,
Wow,
they can keep it going.
the butt
they can
hurt
just-
strikes hard.
No,
Right?
it's more that I'm not sure I really feel safe walking around there at all to ward the place.
Yeah, my park has a lot of bad juju in it, actually. Whenever something happens, it's always a fight or something that's gonna lead to a civil war.
No,
I am
that's
going
just the
to make,
players.
I am going definitely to request you to ward the Elysium that we are going
Yeah.
to have.
I'm saying
going
I can't. I'm going to tell you mentally that if you try to say that, I can't do that as long as the Gangrel are going to be there. There's too much chance for them to just.
I mean, you can
decide
just.
they don't
It
like
just
me.
takes a night. You could essentially have
Yeah.
people keeping you safe. They're not gonna do it in front of Demi if he approves of it. If he trusts
Yeah.
you
You're
not to.
going to be killed there, dude.
I try to save you once. Don't worry, I'm not just gonna let the
Especially
hounds on
if
you.
it gets declared Elysium Jackal, or they can't if you're warding it after it gets declared.
Sure then.
Like, the political fallout would be the kind that would take the Gangrel clan from being in a position of power to everyone unites against them. Like,
You
everyone
should
would
be
shit on
fine.
them. Should be fine. Should
Yeah,
be.
should be. I don't like the should, but I'll have to take it.
I hate to tell you this, but any action you take in the world has a risk, possibly of death.
I don't like those actions.
Are you gonna ward it against fairies, Jackalor? This might be important later. Asking for a friend.
I mean, in all technicality.
Just ward the werewolves, okay? Come on.
Yes, I'll ward the against the werewolves.
Alright, good.
Yeah. I guess
Then
we'll
we
just
will
go
have
with
a
it
fairly secure Elysium, at least.
Apart from the werewolves, which is also important.
then. Yep.
I mean, in some ways, the more important thing is trying to ward against them so they can't just pop in Elysium and go, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
They could still try to do it, but they would have to force their way through the wards in the spirit world anyway. So it would be a good barrier.
Exactly the point. Yep.
And you can hang some spirit chimes around there. I'm not sure if you have the ritual memorized, but it probably is in your library somewhere. So you could essentially look it up and put something up that, or Scent of the Lupines Passing, you could try and look for a version that acts as an item that warns a werewolf's, presence.
So
You could think
generally,
of
we're
something.
assigning you to defense. The longer this goes, the more defense we get.
Yeah.
I'm going to be trying to do negotiations as far as we can take it.
Yeah, Andy, for this, I think Andy gets +1 with Gangrel, possibly Malkavian, and -1 with Ventru and Toreador, because clearly the first Elysium has to belong to one of those clans. Like, what the actual fuck?
Andy is a good man. Don't you diss on him.
Yeah, I have a feeling that he gets a point of status, because he has stepped up today.
Yeah, he really did.
It's not every day that you see a neonate just tell you, sit over there. I'm impressed.
Yeah, 200 XP, 200 XP Elder Gangrel. Sit over there like a fucking dog.
Don't
even
care.
an
Don't
Alec
care.
did that.
Come on, guys. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sheriff, how many people do you have at the ready?
Currently I have 5 very, very green ghouls and 1 very, very green vampire that will do anything I tell it, and 2 clanmates that will probably help as long as it's not insanely dangerous. I had some more people to deputize in mind, but I hadn't gotten around to it quite yet, since I've been busy solidifying as quickly as I could.
Maybe
Most of the clan of Malkavian are willing to see about helping where they can.
You
maybe
catch
we should
just an instant of a look of, like, an instant of distaste at the mention of Malkavians being willing to help. He's not thrilled about the idea. You have enough empathy to tell that much, just automatically. There's something there.
And again, I'd like to point out we could use we could grant embrace rights to the clans in the city.
And he just says, not unless the situation is dire. The prince would not approve us doing this without his say-so.
I believe the situation is dire already. The prince has been kidnapped.
I will take it under advisement, Regent.
Andy for the XP. Andy for the +1 XP.
He's either gonna get rise to the top or get stabbed like a little bitch. Probably the latter if Bacon doesn't come back soon.
Okay. So, what other forces can we bring to bear, at least for immediately? For later, we just need to know what can be responded with quickly. I'll see about trying to, keep everyone in touch, and that way we can respond to events if they happen.
Would any of the gangrel be willing to actually take the territory in the Venetian Isles, Halfdan? Perhaps as their personal domain?
Perhaps.
They would be nearby in that case.
As I said, perhaps. I need to see with my own clanmates.
Of course.
Having some of the gangrel go over to the Venetian Isles. Tell me which ones they are. I'll try and get acquainted with them, and that way, if something happens over that way, I can tell them quickly.
I'm just gonna tell them the names that the gangrel I know are in the city now knew as well.
Okay. So, while we're all here, does anyone have any grievances or anything that we need to settle before we can really try and unite here?
Looking at Halfdan.
Yeah, the sheriff is looking at you, Vivian.
I'm looking at regions.
He's
Do you have
actually
grievances
gonna
with me?
speak up. Well, in the interests of clearing the air, I believe that one of your Malkavians might have escalated the current conflict for the sake of a good laugh. I don't know which one, but I would prefer if I could know which one it was, and if I could have assurances that it wouldn't happen again at the very least.
What in particular are you talking about there? As far as I know, the only things that have been done are true. So, what did they say to you? Or someone else?
You believe it's true that the prince crept at a moment's notice in the middle of the night over to kill a primogen.
Oh, that. Halfdan, I think you can explain that.
Turns to Halfdan.
Maybe also a certain region can explain that.
Eyes fix on the regent.
Well, guys, time to spin your story.
I'm sure he's always
Fuck you, Vivian.
I haven't tried to kill any primogen here. Inflation subterfuge roll so hard.
Oh yes! Oh yes! Demi, you need a manipulation subterfuge roll to keep a straight face as well, I think.
Okay, difficulty?
5 for you, Demi, because he's not paying attention to you. 6 for Jackalor.
I'll spend willpower on this one. Yeah, I'll just start to spend willpower on this one.
Yeah, I think so would he. Actually.
Fuck.
Oh. Shit.
We're both horrible. It's too late, Jack.
You're the ones that decided to make this your story.
He just focuses in on William. I am the sheriff in this city. We are in a time of crisis, and you are useful, and I expect you to be very useful. And we're gonna call that the end of this. But if this ever happens again, I will make it my personal mission in our life to have your hide. Okay?
Understood.
Good.
Okay.
He
I'm
throws
also.
a "you piece of shit" look at Halfdan. Just in general, for trying to cover it up.
I'm just going to. Okay.
I'll
Just as
actually go and
special.
try. I'll actually, out of character, well, in character, I'll go and tell Halfdan in like telepathy. Thank you.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
going to go ahead
I
and
put a
use my
shocked
own.
face.
I'm going to try and help out a bit here. So apparently, one of the Tremere went over and saw about, nominating Halfdan into going against the prince or something like that. And apparently that's what we managed to detect.
Right. Sure, Vivian.
Hey, I am super convincing, despite the sarcasm in my voice.
You are super convincing, but he already saw through these two assholes when they said there was no assassination plot by William, so that's kind of a moot point.
I didn't state what Tremere it was.
Sure.
That's their shtick.
I'm just okay. Now that this issue is now we're putting this issue behind, like the man I am, I'm gonna get up and put my hand out so we can so I can shake my hand with the Regent, and I know it's gonna be very awkward, but do it.
I shake my hand very actually quite heartily with the Halfdan.
All right, good. We've got that grievance over. Well, we could as many gangrel as we can if we go to war with the werewolves. But anything else?
I think that's it.
Well, this is Michelle, by the way. I know that the prince wouldn't want many new embraces, but we could use one more pair of hands to secure Arler, since we are the nearest to the enemy. And he just gives her a level look. Yes, and everyone else will also have a good reason. I will consider it. Try not to aggravate the werewolves. Michelle seems displeased.
Uh,
Now he only needs to learn how to wield my sword.
He's shitting his pants over there, holding on for dear life, Bacon.
I mean, I am so fucking impressed.
Okay. Well, besides that, should we start increasing the number of ghouls in general?
Probably.
That is reasonable. Certainly, I see no problem as long as it's 1 or 2 ghouls per vampire. That's a good start and shouldn't be a problem for anyone.
All right. Okay. Then we know in general what we need to accomplish. 1 or 2 ghouls per vampire, set up the Elysium, set up defenses, try and start negotiations. Suddenly this city is looking more in shape than when Bacon was in charge, what you know.
Andy for Prince. I'm electing him.
He's a good compromise candidate, right? Easy to pressure, at least as a group, and at least keeps up appearances or tries to.
Okay. So I'm just going to wait for everyone to get going and then tell Andy you did a great job. Reinforce
Yeah,
him.
I was about to do that myself.
I was about to do that myself. Fuck you guys.
So everyone except the Nosferatu Primogen is essentially telling Andy that he's been doing well. She just shakes her head, looks disappointed in his performance, and leaves.
Oh, wait. I'll need to catch up to her. Be back in a little bit.
I don't think she's running from the balcony.
Yeah.
Which way she's going? Hey, Michelle! Michelle!
He stops, turns around. Yes, again.
I think we needed to have a talk real quick. Sorry, if you wanted to go somewhere more out of ears and such, that's fine. If not, I don't mind talking here either.
We'll go to the prince's office.
You should probably remove the prince from the prince's office.
The prince is back!
Oh no! They got to him. Epic.
Escaped the werewolf menace.
Epic, are you trying to peek in on the prince? At any part
I
of
will
this?
peek in on the prince at about this point, just to try and take a quick look to see what's going on.
Okay, give me a perception awareness at 8 to get through whatever defenses they have up.
Couldn't get through this time.
Meanwhile, Bacon, there are 3 werewolves holding you down, and a 4th is with a look of utter disgust, just making a thin slice that he keeps reopening in his wrist and giving you blood, just on a drip feed, very slowly.
It's actually kind of cute.
I don't get to see that. Oh well, all fine. So yes, hey Michelle, I just wanted to, get you to the side and see about trying to apologize for what's been going on your side.
Oh. Go
Sorry.
on.
Yeah, I know that the Primogen meeting didn't go very well, and now this is also just kind of being shoving you to the side to a good degree. Just wanted to explain things a little bit from my side, as well as, see if an arrangement can't be compromised at the very least. So, when things had come up about, who was doing what influences, etc., that didn't, when the Nosferatu came up, we just don't know what you guys can actually hold, or how you could go about holding it very well. We just don't know what exactly you guys can do to try and, sway influence in that way. So it was just left for, at least in my mind, for the Primogen to try and, talk together and figure it out on would gain what influences, what other territory would be granted, things like that. But it didn't go that way in the council meeting.
I find it funny that virtually all of the other clans got assigned appropriate domains. Even the Toreador and the Tremere, they certainly got as much of a plum as they deserved, and then a bit on top. And I find it strange that we weren't even at the table whenever that was decided. So I find it kind of hollow that you proclaim that we were not meant to be left out, while at the same time everyone else certainly got theirs.
Almost, in fact, the majority of the clans weren't really represented in general. It wasn't meant to be some kind of ironclad meeting or anything like that. To me, it was more or less just trying to get some starting points for everybody. to know who could, bring what to the table when the Primogen meeting came up. It wasn't about, you know, these are the concrete things. Not to me, at least.
I think you are twisting the truth a little bit here, even if you believe most of it. There's no way you being as old as you are and having been involved in politics, if peripherally for as long as you have, that you are unaware of what kind of meeting it was completely. So, why don't you give me a subterfuge roll? You can use your charisma if that's higher. And for your wonderful innocence and the like, I'll lower the difficulty by a point.
And what about my voice? Does it help?
I'll lower it to a 4.
Go, baby, go!
Do it!
Holy shit.
Easy.
I am very good.
I see. Well, she licks her lips for a second. You know, maybe you have been taken advantage of. Luckily for you, there are people who are willing to help you. If you ever have a situation where you feel like people might be talking over you, or you might not fully understand all the implications of what's going on, I would be happy to listen to you and to tell you what else is going on in the background.
Thank you. I wish for you to know that the same applies to me. If there is anything going on, if you need some form of help, I am always there and willing.
Of course.
For any of the Nosferatu.
Relationships that don't go both ways rarely last with our kind.
So yes, I have thought about it ever since, and if it does come up, I was considering trying to apply you guys for the transportation of the city, to have an influence over that. The taxi drivers, the trains, things like that. Do you think you guys can hold that?
She just shrugs. We can hold most anything if we have enough of a return for our time.
I just figured that would probably be one of the things that would actually help you retain information on the coming and goings of the city as well. So, if it comes up again, that's what I'm going to probably see about doing, if it'll help you guys out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. And just to be somewhat clear, Valda isn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, but she has her heart in mostly the right place. She just thought you were basically doing a form of an attack on people in general, so she tried to get everyone to laugh, and it was at your expense. I'm trying to get her to redirect that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, out of character. You had a read on Wald and why she did it, right?
I think I did. Didn't she do it because she did presence on her?
Yes, but mostly it was out of character wise, it was for the lulz. You can, however, happily spin it like this and try and make it stick.
Sure, I'm spinning it like this, and I do intend to talk to Valda and the entire Primogen Council if it ever comes up again. I intend to actually teach them how to do a Primogen Council meeting.
Okay, then you can make another manipulation, or actually charisma subterfuge here, at 3, because here the voice would apply, I think. You are making a very plausible explanation. What kind of a person would be stupid enough to make this do this kind of thing for the lols in a Primogen meeting of all places. Who would do that? That would be stupid.
Well, I'm very convincing. Yay. She is not going to try and kill Volta or anything like that. Fun times.
She's gonna think twice about it. If both times it's a yes, then she will still do it, but she'll think about it carefully.
Yay, Vivian trying to mend bridges. All right. Well, I think that's most of the session. Next one, we actually start trying to make everything. So.
And go to war. Ura.
This stuff for things like wards and that kind of stuff, we are gonna just treat it as a one thing. I'm not gonna have you go through every detail of every preparation you're making. This is a more general thing. The werewolves, meanwhile, because a few days are probably gonna pass, Bacon, they're gonna give you enough blood to take you up, say, 2 points of ag so you can function, and they're gonna keep you under constant guard and constantly chained down while they question you and see what they can squeeze out of you. But they are gonna essentially shake you down as much as they can.
Fucking werewolves.
You can always sell out Jackalor. They would be happy to take that note back.
I will keep it if they start to get too rough.
I at least am worth something to you. That's nice to know.
Yeah, they're gonna be very careful to not torpor you even when they start smacking you around. Because, very, very carefully. These ones seem to have a lot of practical experience in keeping vamps prisoner. And just in general managing them, though not necessarily ones as strong as you.
Might not even be aware of how strong he actually.
They saw him take those claw hits like it was nothing, so they have some idea, and he was apparently in charge, so at least to some extent. Or at the very least, he's in charge of a faction that fucked with him. Just from the place he was living in, that there were a lot of servants he had.
Yep.
So at the very least, a leader of a powerful pack. Oh, Bacon's in for a fun few days.
By the way, would my contestants ever gain by 1 point?
Your what?
My contestants.
You had a week spent while Demi was having his Civil War drama, since you charged that sword, so it would be back to full. It regains, I think I said, what, like 2 per week? Actually, no, it was...
1 per week, I think. 1 per week, I think.
I think it was your quintessence rating in... per month. Something like that. Or it was twice your quintessence rating per month.
Something. You didn't give me the details, just something like 1 per week or so.
Yeah, we're gonna say that it's twice your quintessence rating per month, and once you have, say, you can convert 5 quintessence to one, essentially bottled one, that you can carry with you.
Okay.
We'll treat it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would have been long enough, I think, to recover 2.
Okay, do I need to make any rolls for the awards and shit right now, or?
No, you'll have 1 roll for the general strength awards you place in, the places you place them, and I'm gonna do the math on how much willpower points you need in order to invest them effectively.
I had to save a lot of lives this session.
I saved 1. I'm happy.
Okay,
How many death situations are there?
So
I also saved 1.
Did we cover experience for last time for who got extra? I think it was the sheriff then?
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, he doesn't have any extra yet. Who did we give it to?
Oh, I think it's the sheriff actually.
Then it hasn't recorded properly. He certainly earned his extra 2 points. Since Andy is very young and he's going through hell, and since everyone agrees that he has done awesomely, I recommend giving him a full 5 and just putting it in presence, cause that's the thing
Totally.
he has been pushing, if with non-magical
yeah.
means.
Yep, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. He grew up so fast.
Andy for friends.
You have your backup prince in case this one dies.
Apparently, he's pretty damn good at this.
It's his nature coming through. He has been essentially peeled back to his default mode of operation, and he's pushing it for Allsworth and hoping that it gets him on the other side.
Alright. So, what I need to do is gain the trust of Andy. His complete and undying loyalty is what I'm hearing. Good to know.
And then make sure the prince never comes back, yes.
That's why we failed the negotiations by saying you can keep Bacon, but we'll stay neutral. That's okay, right?
Bacon, see,
so-
you have been gone for less than a full 24 hours, and they're already planning to put your child in your spot.
And
Yeah,
he still
I
has a
would-
destiny point. He still has a destiny point to spend, so he'll be fine.
That is true, Bacon. You can spend a destiny point for a miraculous getaway from werewolves or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's fine now. I can keep it.
Just remember,
For the moment,
if you're ever
we'll
in
see
that
how
situation,
negotiations
you
go.
can use it.
Okay,
We'll
in
see how the
terms-
negotiations turn up.
yeah.
So-
In terms of who got fucked the most, had the most horrible learning moment, I think that extra point goes to Bacon because he got smashed in the face by werewolves he hadn't adequately prepared for and got captured.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable.
Yep.
Fucking werewolves.
Yeah, the gifts really clinch it, especially when they're built for fucking with vamps in the city. The Sabbat made them
Yeah.
strong, fed them on big, and juicy red meat all the time. They've learned, they've adapted. So, an extra point for competence. Nominations.
Vivian.
Yeah. Actually, I would say half done.
Why me?
You did. I think you did well. You did pretty well, actually. Yeah. Generally speaking, you did. You were pretty competent. You didn't do anything stupid. You did essentially were being pretty much good at being you.
For once you did it right, you fuck up.
It's very awkward when Jack's complimenting you, especially on a character you just almost had a civil war with.
I mean, he brought it back. He managed to essentially get it well. for
You
now.
know,
But to be honest, my point would go to Vivian, mostly because of first she got the tension down, then she saved us a shit ton, shaved everybody, and basically actually unified us pretty well. If anything, we're
Epic,
much stronger now.
what do you think?
Well, I'm not sure I did it like perfectly, but I did unite pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I thought it was just generally a good session.
Okay. Bacon, who do you think deserves the extra point?
I don't think that I was paying too much attention, but let me remember what both of them did.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
also missed the first 20 minutes. Anything interesting happened that time?
What was the first 20 minutes? What did we start with? We started with them. Oh, right. They managed to crash a car and nearly get
Oh
exploded.
yeah,
Yep.
that.
Had to save a gal.
Say,
More like
I saved
calm
the
down,
gal.
save the gal.
Yeah,
from
but
fire.
it was helped out by me. I saw it really quick, and we were
Well,
able
he
to
would have
get
noticed
everyone
it.
out. It was
He
I
great.
would have
noticed
noticed it too,
anyway.
but you just quicker on the uptake.
Totally. I got really quick.
Demi, think about it. Dark Thaumaturgy. He could teach you how to undo the werewolf's
No.
defenses.
No.
All you have to do is
I don't-
pick up the phone.
Would I be able
Chris,
to know how to undo the? Hey, Chris, would I be able to know how to undo the werewolf's defenses?
You might be. You would know that essentially it's based upon spirits and purity with your successes. So if you spoil that badly enough for long enough, they would fail eventually.
I don't like that idea.
Short of that, you need either a specifically created ritual, potentially one crafted specifically for the specific node after you had studied it for a while, or you would need some powerful counter magic, or better yet, an actual mage who is skilled in Prime. Very skilled in Prime.
Yeah, we're not getting that one.
Okay. Well, suppose we're just waiting on bacon.
Yeah, I think my point goes to Vivian. She managed to unite us, but yeah, Demi did good this time.
Okay, then yeah, Vivian does win by a slight margin, and I will give all of you an extra point for essentially you did manage to get unified. You worked out the conflicts that were gonna inevitably arise from how your characters are constructed to some extent and arrive at a working model of interaction.
So my working mode of interaction is being not on the power.
You weren't as
Actually,
much
you
of
would have
a
been just
problem.
fine.
Yeah, you weren't the problem.
Yeah.
You could semi work with everyone. That had already been worked out. It's more that we've kind of reached a point where the more important NPCs and the players sort of have gone click and fallen into a place where they can stick, you know?
Mhm.
So things aren't up in the air anymore.
Yep.
By the way, do I have an idea how powerful the node is?
The werewolf node?
Yeah.
You would have to essentially take some measurements from near to it. Maybe the Kia seed from seeing it could make an educated guess, but not at the drop of a hat, no. You might know that there were some sources of power in that area, and you probably at the time that you checked them knew that they were weaker than the one you claimed, but you don't know how they might have changed over the years. And it's been a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, weaker than yours almost certainly.
Yeah. Also, I will be informing the rest of the people about everything I can about werewolves.
So you're spreading the news, trying to make yourself look useful and knowledgeable.
Also, try and inform them of the fact that they're probably not going to. If you meet them, how to act and like essentially that stuff, especially
Yeah.
considering their.
Alright. I will let you roll something like charisma expression to see how much of a cunt or not so cunt you look when you're spreading this news, to see if you can start working on undoing some of your horrible reputation. But we're gonna just make a note for yourself that that's something we're gonna do next session when you're actually spreading the news. Just put it somewhere that you will see it when we play next time. Okay, in terms of extra willpower. So, let's see. Let's start with Bacon because his is the easiest, and I want to try and ask individual questions for things that happened during the session this time. So, Bacon, what was going through your character's mind when that whole sequence of jumping out the window, the werewolf chasing you, and grabbing you happened? What was the internal thought process of Alan Percy?
His thought was, I won't look bad and just gave up my servants to the fucking werewolves. I rather try to get out and survive the encounter without giving up on something.
Okay, so the idea was to lead them essentially as far away as possible while trying to escape. So you are
Yes.
partially trying to protect people. Okay, that works. Make a note that you have a tick towards a chance to gain humanity. Because for you, that's a huge step upwards, as much of an asshole as you are. Okay, let's see. Jackalor. When a Gangrel Elder showed up at the shed and started being passively threatening, what was going through your character's mind?
Okay. If he starts, will he essentially, as considering how I was considering how likely it was that the guy would start something, and how he'd react. And first he considered, maybe I'll just kill him. No, I can't do that. Vivian is here. Then maybe I can just go and just teleport out and pretend. Oh yeah, he had birds.
So essentially sorting through your various options and discarding them in turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Demi, what was going through your character's mind when the car crash happened? The moments immediately preceding it and up to the point where you got out and rescued the girl.
What was my first thought? Well,
What's your
okay,
thought
this
process
is
in general?
well. First, when Vivian told me, I'll just go from the start, I guess. When first Vivian told me, this car's, starting to seem to go on fire, my first reaction would have been, well, fire. I can kind of take that. Vivian can't take anything, so I'll save her 1st.
Mhm.
And after Vivian helped me notice the other girl, and Jekyll kind of already got out. Once again, I can't just leave an innocent person like that just to burn the car for whatever reason. And I can take it like a man, at least a little bit. So run in and get her.
All right.
Just save people.
Okay, you can record another tick towards your humanity. I think you had yours wiped by selling out a innocent Tremere recently, so this is your first one.
Yep.
Just let me know when you hit for you 4. Then you can roll to see if you can gain another one. And
Okay.
Vivian, what was going through your mind when you were talking to the Regent alone and figuring out how you could get this asshole from causing trouble?
She was just trying to think of the best way to try and do this, because he's tried to go and kill, a friend. But, reading his mind, it became obvious that he's really just a paranoid asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So she was trying her best to try and, bring him around on the viewpoints. That they weren't all out to get him, they weren't enemies. They might even be allies if he does things right.
So you managed him like a newborn milk.
More or less, to a good degree.
Okay. Okay, so I want to go around the circle and I want to know one thing that has gone right for your character for the willpower point. And we'll handle the natures after we do this. This is just like essentially the semi-free one. So, Bacon, what has gone right for your character?
Um,
One thing, however small, one ray of hope.
Not dying.
he managed to get information on the attack that happened on the city, and maybe he can even get a flash crafter reformed and working for him.
Okay. Demi.
Finally having some sort of peace with the regent.
Okay. Jackalor.
The half-done, a fucking gangrel, fucking primogen, and elder of Great Cities worked with him like it was fucking nothing. That's like, wow, 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 wow.
Mm. So mostly, yeah. You were impressed. So from that, I got that you were impressed with how the new Gangrel Elder held. Oh no, that was Andy, right? You were impressed by seeing
Yeah.
Andy bitchify Halfdan, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It
good.
was more like I was. Vivian might actually be right, and he isn't. Might not actually be out to get me.
Uh-huh. Okay. Maybe, just maybe, hopefully. And Vivian, what has gone right?
Finally fixed the bridges with Michelle.
Okay.
Finally did that. Been planning that for fucking ever.
Okay, I will give you 2 extra points for willpower epic. 1 for the card thing where you were helping save people and, mind wipe witnesses, and 1 for essentially managing the table while people figure out how to cooperate. So you will get a total of 3, 2 for nature, and on top of the one you got for pep talking Andy.
Yay, I maxed my willpower again.
What are you at? 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Jackalor is a conniver. I'll let you try and make an argument for that nature. I can see how it might work, but I need you to see it if I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no.
Alright. Let's see, what was...
Competitor.
What's the exact wording on that?
That is a good question.
Regain 1 point of willpower whenever you succeed at a test or challenge.
Maybe that means he gets one every time he rolls.
No,
As long as it's a success.
it specifically tells that it's not just a roll.
I survived to 3 werewolves. That counts.
I'm not sure that was succeeding.
Shameful display.
They had you dead to rights, Bacon.
I mean, nobody died. That's a success.
If
That's not how that works.
Bacon, if you survive this and manage to rub it into Neville's face successfully without him calling you out on it, I will give you 2 points. But you have to get to a point where you can talk to Neville first.
Yeah, it will be a little bit hard.
Hell, even the present contents with the captured fucking
You failed that too.
Yeah, you had to resort to willpower. The fucker just told you to go fuck yourself, essentially.
I considered that a win because I chopped him to pieces.
That wasn't a win. You even frenzied.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have killed him, but the moral victory was his. He proved his superiority.
If I died while managing to piss off somebody in such a superior position like that, that's not a loss. I mean, it's a loss of character, but that wasn't a loss.
Yeah, he figured he was dead anyway, so fuck it, right?
Anything else you got for us, Bacon, that might apply?
I would give him a full refill if he knew how good Andy was doing, I think. Because he has the perfect ventral child, or at least it looks like it at the moment. Until Andy fucks up horribly. But he doesn't know.
Not there. Yeah. Actually,
Yeah, when
he might lose willpower if Andy does too well.
I mean, I raise him. I bet that Neville child is not as good as mine.
So your child is meant to become even more powerful than you. Got it.
His child is just meant to do better than Neville's child. Everything else is secondary. Did yours manage a city in your absence when he was so young? I don't think so.
That almost
Smug,
sounds
smug,
like a
smug.
possible loss of status.
Not really, because, well, shit
Depends how he
happened.
puts it, but
Yeah,
I mean,
this
no,
is...
not really.
If having a child that does really well in an unexpected crisis like this, that would potentially be a gain of clan status, because he clearly has trained him
totally.
well.
Totally on that part. I was talking
Get-
about with Neville in their personal
Oh.
relationships.
It depends. He would have to make a few rolls to rub it in, but this is good fuck you fuel.
It is good fuck you fuel. Yes, it is.
I agree.
Okay, and I think, yeah, nothing comes to mind other than that for... He even expected them to come, that's the thing!
Yeah, he did. He even just
Sadly,
kind
I-
of stated, for any enemies that come to attack me. Oh, yep, there
sadly,
they
I
are.
hadn't sadly, I hadn't gotten the werewolf wards up yet.
Yeah, they had someone with Mother's Touch, and they would have had those healy things for those that couldn't be healed with that, so you get the idea. Bad things. They can
It
heal
was a
fast.
well-prepared attack on a very
was.
semi-prepared enemy.
If Bacon hadn't gone like utter last, he might have had a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But he was utter last.
It was
Yeah.
the Rendecraft that really fucked him, I
Totally.
think. That was just horrid bad. And Demi, Bon Vivant. Other than
I don't-
hunting, I don't see it.
Yeah. God damn it.
I mean, you know who you could call for a good dime. She might be bored enough.
All right. We can stop with the veiled threats of bringing in the outsiders.
Just
It's
don't
not
bring
a
her.
threat,
in.
it's an asset.
She's not an
Yeah.
asset. She's a fucking threat. There's no fucking other way.
You want me to start calling in my friends? I don't think anyone wants that.
Are they
I mean,
hot?
your sire is currently walking under the Atlantic coming over to you, so... Wait,
Ah,
what?
son of a bitch.
He heard his girl was in trouble. He'll be here soon.
All right, guys, we need to actually make shelters now. post-traumatic stress disorder is about to be real.
6th gen Malk. Dementation 7.
I mean, I know what you need to do, Epic. You need to Diablize him. Obviously, that's the answer.
Bad Jacklor.
There's no way I would Diablerize someone.
You could Jackalor, you could pick up a few derangements, but think of the powers you would gain.
No,
He has
it's not worth
multiple
it.
disciplines at elder levels. You could just go, yeah, I'm just gonna have Obfuscate 6 now. Imagine that. You could cloak the entire chantry.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is a way that she would perform Diablerie, but it would basically be somebody literally, convincing her to become, we will become one. Just accept me, please. And even then, it would be like,
Oh,
So I need to
Jesus.
open this-
14
I need to
dice. Holy crap. Jesus,
wait.
I made him a monster. I'm so sorry.
So you're saying I need to dominate him into convincing her to eat him? Join together.
Do you want a 6th gen Vivian? Are you insane? He'll just take Dementation to 7. You know he would want it.
I'll admit, I would really want the inventation to 7.
Think of it, Jackalor. Obfuscate 6. 6. And 6th gen. No one could find. Except Vivian.
But even then, she'd have to roll contested.
Yes. Exactly.
Which
It's
does
I'm not that
remind
interested,
me.
honestly.
Are we done with the XPs and everything?
I
Yeah.
believe so, yes. So, everyone except Vivian and Bacon get 3s, and you two get 4. Because extra point for story goal achievement, essentially. You found a way to work together and make the city semi-function.
Okay.
I have a
So,
lot of points.
So
I have
I have
done quite a few too. And this means I need to ask for something particular. Can I raise my awareness to like 3?
Raise
You
my
can
empathy.
certainly raise it to... God's damn it, you can raise it to 2, and after next session you can raise it to 3. Because
Works
you
for
have been
me.
using it a
Now-
lot.
That
Like to
down
I
raise my
there
was-
then.
empathy.
I was going to ask Epic if we're gonna do our trade ever, because if not, to spend it so I could spend it on something else.
Oh, I'm only 3 points away from that. So if you want to do the trade, I was just waiting for some actual real time to actually be passing instead of
Yeah.
nights
Mhm.
to get to working on that. So I have a good amount in reserve for when that kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
Could I take the second level of Mucus area?
7th?
Second, you would need 7 XP, and I think so, yeah. Go ahead, you have used it liberally.
Now I can see the werewolves easier.
I was going to ask, can I get my perception up to 3?
I think you've used it a lot, especially with people you've had to keep an eye on them, so sure, I'll let you.
Sweet.
Oh, I suppose I should ask the question just to make sure. Because I think it was mostly just Demi joking about it. But I don't add a dot of allies, right?
For Michelle?
Shell. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just joking about that.
Not quite.
Pretty sure it was just a joke.
Yeah, not quite. You could turn her into an ally if, once we do a longer time skip, you actually invest the time and effort into maintaining and building that relationship pretty easily, but
Okay.
yeah. We're gonna, once we do a time skip, we're gonna treat it as a like you're gonna have to essentially spend some of that time maintaining the things you have or building them up, and we're gonna try and set it up in such a way that it's some sort of reasonable cap for how much stuff you can realistically maintain if you don't want to spend all your time doing it. But, you know, that's when we do a time skip. That's probably gonna be like half of an episode, at least, while we're discussing what happens during the time skip and how you react to it before we drop into another age.
But we have a werewolf problem right now.
Right. Embrace rights and domain to the first person to bring me a werewolf head. Charge!
Alright.
Oh, the gang
I will
roll.
say
I
again.
think that's everything then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah.
Just a note.
Bye.
Yeah,
Fuck
Chris,
the werewolf.
mind me having a quick one-on-one talk with you?
Yes. Stick around for
also,
a second.
I forgot one thing. Can I get empathy to 3?
Okay, fine, Jackalor. Sure. Bacon, what did you want?
Okay.
Oh, nothing, just say fuck the werewolves.
Okay,
All right.
noted. I have written it down. Fuck the werewolves.
Easy.
Alright. Okay. Goodbye, Twitch.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
I should end the recording, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That's up
Bye.
to you. If you want to just continue for, Demi's little thing, that's fine. I figured everyone was getting
Okay. Bye, everyone.